In part 1 of this series, I talked about the dangers of dehydration, especially for older hikers. In this video, I'll walk you through my personal routine for carrying and managing water on the trail, how I stay hydrated, how I plan around water sources, and a system that's worked for me across thousands of trail miles. Let's start with how I carry water. I use a 3-liter water bladder. I don't always fill it to the top, but I almost always start the day with between 2 and 2.5 liters in it. That's my main supply. I carry it inside my backpack with a drinking tube that I can easily reach while walking. A lot of hikers prefer bottles instead of bladders. They want to see exactly how much water they've got left and they find bottles easier to refill. That's fair enough, but for me the bladder is easier to sip from. Sipping regularly is the whole key. I also have a hard time getting a bottle out of my pack pocket while I'm walking, and an even harder time getting it back in. I'd rather sip from the hose and keep moving. In addition to the bladder, I carry a reserve bottle, usually 1 to 1.5 liters. That's my backup. It's not there for sipping, it's there in case the bladder runs dry. While using the reserve, I put up with my uncoordinated efforts at putting it back into my pack. To manage hydration, I use a method I call the CHERM, that's C-H-E-R-M. I named it after my son, whose initials are C-H-E. He developed it when we hiked in the Grand Canyon. I was withdrawing from medications and became especially dehydrated. On that trip, our excitement about where we were and our hike ahead overrode our common sense, and we went into the canyon at the hot part of the day. We ran out of water while on the plateau, but fortunately we found it soon after that. But like I said in the previous video, that was luck, not planning. Now I plan. With the CHERM, I set a timer on my watch to go off every 20 minutes. When it beeps, I take a sip, even if I don't feel thirsty. Actually, especially if I don't feel thirsty. That's the whole point. Our thirst response weakens as we age and we can't rely on it to warn us in time. So I let the timer do the thinking. That regular sipping keeps me ahead of the dehydration curve, and I'm free to drink in between the 20-minute cycles if I feel I need it. One thing is, when sipping through the tube, I tend to drink less each time than if drinking from a bottle, so I take some care to drink a little extra each time, not just a quick sip. Now, if the bladder runs dry, I'm into the reserve. The reserve tells me how far I can go before I absolutely must find water. I must refill at the next viable source. And if I've been hiking for a while and I suspect the bladder is running dry, I don't wait until it runs out to refill it if I come across a good water source. While in the reserve, the 20-minute timer is no longer a reminder. It becomes a rationing tool. I still take water every 20 minutes, but I control the volume more carefully and I try to avoid drinking between intervals. That rhythm keeps me calm and focused while I look for water. Whenever I do find a source, I camel up, meaning I drink a good amount on the spot. That gives my body a boost and spares some of the weight that I'd have to carry otherwise. Then I refill the bladder and the reserve bottle. I don't always top them off completely, it depends on what's ahead, but I always leave with enough to stay ahead of the problem, not chase it later. I also keep an eye on electrolytes. If I'm sweating heavily or it's a long day, I'll mix an electrolyte powder into the reserve bottle. That way I've got it if I need it. And even if I don't use it during the day, I'll usually drink electrolytes with supper to help my body recover. I'm a fan of LMNT. I don't have any business relationship with them except the one where I send them money and they send me electrolytes. Here's a quick chart on some popular electrolyte options. You may want to pause the video to take a closer look. Planning ahead is half the battle. I use the FarOut app to check water sources along the trail. I read recent hiker comments to see if springs or streams are flowing, but I don't stop there. I also compare comments from the same time last year. That gives me a sense of whether this year is running wetter or drier than usual, and whether I can expect the more marginal sources to be flowing. Full disclosure, I am a 2025 FarOut product ambassador. It's a volunteer position, but I do promise to promote the use of FarOut to the extent that I use it myself. If I know I'm headed into a dry camp, meaning no water nearby, I'll haul extra from the last source before camp. I've carried an extra gallon of water for up to a mile or two that way, usually in my dirty water bag. Is it heavy? Absolutely, but having water at camp is just non-negotiable. I need it when I'm there. So that's my water routine. It's not fancy, but it works. A system like this takes the guesswork out of hydration. It lets me stay ahead of problems and not react to them. Especially as older hikers, we need to treat water as safety gear, not optional or excess weight. In part 3, I'll go into water treatment methods. There are a lot of options to choose from to fit your hiking style. If you found this information helpful, please like, share, subscribe, and comment on this or other topics you'd like me to cover. And if you haven't seen this video, I recommend you take a look at it now. Thanks for watching.